I just don't think so. The joke is being a nuisance.
I don't care.
Funny.
I don't care. I heard you first the first time.
I don't care.
Okay.
You eventually reflect upon this and realize that this isn't the kind of energy you want to put out in the world. But hey, I'm just a guy, so I'm open to being wrong about this, though I'm strongly held in my beliefs. That being said, this was 3 years ago. He's kind of just gone down that path, so, and it's rewarding. You know, he's making probably more money off of this content than the workers that he's pranking. So, why would he stop? Usually shame. Usually shame is what stops people. I can't imagine I talk about this guy again because the content is just so monotone. There's like no diversity to it. And it's short form now, so there's just like not much to chew on. My apologies, as always, and I hope you have a good day. Stay gold, everybody.
Hey, Allison, founder of Poppy here. We have some huge news. Poppy has teamed up with the Minecraft movie in celebration of the release to create.
Who likes this? I haven't even done anything. Wait, why are you selling? Why is an energy drink combining with Minecraft? It's a kid movie. Kids shouldn't drink.
Convenience and novelty and points of interest in that way.
And this isn't like a really an ethical conversation if you're not online and involved in it. Why would you think about that?
Right.
Yeah,
but the thing is that doesn't mean that it's above criticism because our it's like saying yeah, babies want to eat candy more than they want to eat vegetables. You dumb donkey.
Why would we feed them the thing they don't?
Obviously they just want to eat whatever, like the thing that's most attractive to them.
You're gonna tell the kid what to do.
That works about as well as this shit.
And so this is kind of crazy to me. And there's also ongoing lawsuits, I believe.
There was a lawsuit from the New York Times against OpenAI for training GPT on the New York Times articles. That's ongoing.
Like I can't even read the fucking New York Times articles without
Pink, blue.
They keep taking shots at the big boys. Like maybe I'm certainly the more I'm glad that they're not. Well, they are, but the damage would be worse in the case of independent artists who can't defend themselves.
Pink,
or who
red,
are literally having their work taken.
blue,
Like you got a
yellow.
little too comfortable, and now you're like, I'm gonna take a swing at just all of Saudi Arabia. I'm gonna steal all their oil.
It kind of feels very like, give me Greenland.
Nice.
I want it. Give it to me and we'll get it no matter what.
No.
Because we're powerful.
Gulf of America, okay.
Because, like, the money in OpenAI is more money than, you know, Studio Ghibli's ever been worth. So we can fight them.
Yeah, if they get hit with a lawsuit, like worst case scenario, they have to like pay several $1 million in a lawsuit to someone. They're making so much more than that
it's
right
like
now.
when Uber was moving into markets without getting government approval and then just paying fines.
Yeah.
For
because
less
it's
than
cheaper.
Yeah.
Doesn't Disney own the licensing rights to Ghibli in America? And
Yeah, I suppose.
Disney
Hi,
is
Braylon.
traditionally quite litigious.
But that's the thing. It's like this company has so much power behind it. OpenAI has got like a market cap of like, or an estimated market cap of like $300 billion, which would make it one of the like largest companies in the world. And
Coloring
Disney's
as
market
Modius.
cap, I think it's a lot less than
Oh,
that.
their partnership.
He's
ended, is
from
what I
anime.
read.
Disney market
Welcome to
cap
Demon
servitude.
School, Iruma-kun.
Yeah, it's like
Iruma-kun?
no, Disney's public
Iruma-kun?
company, but this
It's
thing
not
always happens where it's like Tesla's market cap and the way that it's priced into the market means it's worth more than like every other automaker.
Yeah.
Like combined, not exactly
It's not as
that,
dark
but like
as I
something
wanted it
close
to
to
be.
that, and on the same order.
Like the revenue
It's too late. I can't
valuation
do anything
of
right now.
And so it's this thing where it's like there's all this speculation kind of baked into this. Valuation at the last raise for OpenAI is double Disney's current market cap.
With any kind of online, primarily online discourse, it's easy to lose track of the fact that normies, and that's non-pejorative, being normies is good. I wish I could get there. Literally don't know what any of these words mean. Like OpenAI, like what is that? Because why would they have to?
Well,
if
that's
they
the
know
thing.
AI, it's like, oh yeah, I saw like a video. It was interesting.
I think that like the annoying thing is that it feels
Thank you, Braylon.
very
Of
like,
DeviantArt.
easy to dunk on someone who
I used
has
to,
make
and then I
sure
just never
that
posted to it,
there's
and I
an
just
issue.
lost my account
But
number.
the
So no, I don't have
alternative is
one.
just to lie down and
I
have these,
tried,
like, giant
though.
corporate actors like control your entire life.
Like, well, they're so big, I guess they're right.
Also, you have to recognize that like most people do not have the capacity to give a shit because they're trying to make ends meet or they are trying to focus on their job and their family and just keeping like it's hard enough to live.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a privilege to care about things like this, but you know, we are in a privileged position to say that like this shit is whack as hell.
I think that one of the few things where there can be
The
grassroots
pink I
impact,
want.
in theory, is in defense of smaller artists and creatives specifically, because that is a very like punchy line. If you're pushing back on something like this because you're like, well, you're stealing work from something, that's a very tangible criticism, as opposed to like the more broad criticism of how bad monopolies can be and how this could disenfranchise people in the long term. I don't want to say that there is no value in pushing back against this and its application.
No. I just think that, like, you know what's funny? I wouldn't even describe myself as anti-AI because I think there's a lot of nuance to artificial intelligence that has kind of been co-opted to, like, just mean a couple of things where AI has been a part of our lives for decades and will continue to be a part of our lives for the foreseeable future. It's like I'm not anti-water, but I don't want clean water to go to certain people and dirty water to go to other people.
I want Flint's water to be good. It's not that like water is.
And so we're in this Wild West.
Where's the dark pink that I wanted?
Commissioner, right, of
This?
the FTC, you know, is now
Yeah, that'll
out,
work.
and they were a person who was suing a lot of these big companies and fighting against like mergers and corporate consolidation and also anti-consumerist
Red that I wanted.
practices and monopolies. That type of stuff is like not going to be happening.
Dude,
in
colors
this,
suck.
administration. Just like,
I hate coloring.
So even if
I drew,
even if we
Gojo
had that, this would still
from
be fighting an uphill battle because the
Kaitsu,
speed at which
Jujutsu
legislation
Kaitsu,
happens is much
and I was like
slower
worried the
than
entire
speed at
time.
which
I think the best thing is don't use too many colors
AI has developed at
and
such
use
a
multiple mediums because you only use markers. I feel like they sort of bleed into each other. Same with crayons.
had a
Like
minor,
the different
basically, in
textures I feel like
artificial
really
intelligence,
makes it
like
look more
a specialization in my
clean.
degree
At least
was,
with the way I draw.
in
Maybe
networking,
maybe I'm just like
especially
too
those were, like, my
horrible. What am I looking
branch
for?
of my
A dark pink.
specializations. And I took like graduate classes in machine learning.
But yeah, I
and
think if you mix
things like that.
mediums
And
more,
where
at
the
least for
world
me that
was
worked.
10 years ago,
Whether or not
was,
that's
very,
like
very
sustainable or
different.
anything, or
Like,
whether or
we
not
were
that's something you should
thinking
do.
about. We were using
That's something
AI
someone
to like, you know, like some of the applications
much better at art
could
than
be
me.
like solving a maze, you know, like
Yeah, this is what I want.
identifying a face. You know, like some of these basic things. Like I had a project when I was in college in my computer vision class to like look at the 2012 presidential debate and like be able to face track Mitt Romney and Obama and things like that.
It's such an exciting pitch always, and still is. Like, it's such a remarkable technology.
It is.
It's very difficult to make the argument that the technology itself is not valuable, and it's very difficult for people that don't care to make the argument as to like the ethical implications.
Yeah, I just think that ethicists exist in the technology space, and I don't think they're as prominent as they should be, but I do think it's like very, very important. It's also why I think anyone studying anything technical should also study soft sciences, soft skills, communication, English, like liberal arts and things, because we can get in this very calculated view of the world,
like kind of libertarian mindset,
or just like utilitarian, even like just saying like, how do you qualify? Is this net good versus opposite?
Ayn Rand core. It is like, well, he had to make the best building.
Yeah,
that's the point.
All that's to say that like I'm actually probably pro AI with a bunch of like asterisks, right? But the thing is, if I were to say that, what that means to someone isn't what it means to me.
Sure.
Because of what the like sort of
The light pink. What was the light pink?
understanding of what AI is. And so that's
think
why
it was
we
this
talk
one.
about this stuff to try to add like nuance to like what
But that
is
one
currently
isn't as
happening.
light as
And
I
think
want it
that
to be.
a thing that we can all agree with is just carte
I can just keep
blanche
it white.
stealing from creatives or anyone is bad.
You're terrible
And
at
then-
coloring
and then
too,
even then
Braylon?
using that to effectively repackage and systematize it for profit is bad.
And that's what's a little extra slimy about this too, is that it's because you're right that legislature will always struggle to catch up really to anything, because legislature has to follow, even in the current administration, should have to follow the same like stringent testing and system that a new medication would. There has to be a study, double-blind, placebo. Everything should be reviewed. But diseases are always going to evolve faster
It's
than
why
the medicine
Brian
can.
Johnson is like, a lot of scientists laugh at him because he's not like, there's nothing sort of scientific to his methods. Normally there is lots of checks and balances to make sure that horrible things don't occur. I just watched a documentary called Bad Surgeon, where I think it was called Bad Surgeon. It was about this surgeon that had all this praise maybe 10, 15 years ago for inventing man-made tubes that could go into your throat to treat certain throat people who had issues with throat cancers and things of that nature. And it was hailed as this like cool experimental technology that was super promoted in the media. And then it comes to find out that he never tested.
I just practice a lot. This is the only hobby I
animals.
do
He never tested on any
like
of his tubes. He never tested on
consistently.
humans.
Everything. I don't do anything else
Almost all
consistently.
of
I
his
don't
patients died.
crochet.
It's
I
a
don't
crazy
knit
documentary.
consistently. I don't
That's
sew
the-
consistently.
but
So
leading
it's the only
up
thing
to
I'm like
that,
really good at.
The media is
Same with
part
writing. I don't write
of the
consistently, and that's why I
problem
suck at it.
because they were the ones making documentaries.
And then I feel bad about
how
not doing it, so I don't do it.
transformative he was. There were filmmakers covering some of the
I need gray. Where's my
patients
gray?
up until like finishing the treatment and being able to speak afterward. And then at the movie premiere, the filmmakers follow up with the person and they've actually died.
That's so... Because it is a way more interesting story than, hey, so we're going to be in testing for something for the next 15 years, but it's pretty exciting, right?
There was one thing that I kept seeing in the Ghibli argument online, and people kept saying stuff like, well, artists influence each other all the time and steal from each other all the time and pay homage to each other all the time. What's the difference here? And the difference is the humanity's taken out.
The commodification of it.
Like, well, and the commodification of it. But even the fact that when you're an artist and you're creative and you're thinking of what to make, your humanity is in that process, right? You're not
Do I have a
just
dark blue?
straight
Paying
up,
homage to the person, not the color
or you're
gradation.
influenced by
Interpreting
the
it
person.
too, and you're
Yeah.
and it's flowing through your own creativity, and instead it's flowing
That's not
through
what I wanted.
deep neural network that's like spitting out millions and millions and millions and millions of iterations.
You can tell the
of
difference,
this
but I don't know
stuff
if
that just turns it from something
it doesn't
that
look
had,
like different
a
colors. They look like the
soul
same
to
color
it
but
to
different.
a very like cheap copy, quite literally a cheap copy.
There should
Different
be a
texture.
difference between the concept, which has some validity, of like death of the artist and spreading of the art itself in isolation, and the death of all of the artists involved being made by no one for no one. Importantly, no one's going to pay homage to this because it's not doing anything. This does not make something to propagate. Somebody got annoyed at me for this for some reason at one point. I'm actually not a death of the artist person. I get it in some cases, and I get that it's like people don't like an author, it's kind of nice to distance from it or something like that. If I watch a movie, if I watch any production of any kind, it is not interesting to me unless I know who made it. Because it is their expression. It's like, I'm reading somebody's diary. Who? And
But
it doesn't
even
matter
if you
then.
don't know anything about who created it,
Thinking
a
about
series of decisions were made in the creation of anything creative. You have to constantly make a series of decisions.
And they hurt, and they're hard, and they're weird, and there's
And
tears.
those
and there's-
decisions are part of what is affecting you, right? I love watching documentaries about him because he's such a interesting, creative mind, and he has such strong opinions. That's the other thing that's crazy. The fact that they chose his work
I know,
in particular.
And they chose it based not on the substance of it or the message of it, but on the vibes. I like the
No,
way
but
it
also I
looks.
don't do line art
It's
anymore.
this
Like all of
may
these
as
right here you
well
see.
have been, and
I
think
didn't. I
this
just did the
probably
pencil
does
sketch
exist,
and then I colored over it,
Family Guy
and I let the
vibes.
I let the
Yeah,
pencil
for
bleed
sure.
through,
You know
so
what
you
I
can
mean? It's
kind of
like,
see the
oh my
lines,
God,
but then you
Tiananmen Square, but
mostly
Family
just
Guy.
follow the colors.
Like, what are we doing?
That's what I did.
But also
Because I
the
also
Challenger
suck at
explosion
line
is-
art.
Simpsons.
It's interesting because like that.
But that's not good
in
long term. I
isolation,
am gonna
all
have to,
this, if you
you
take
know,
out who is
actually
harmed,
practice
is
it, or I'm
just
never gonna get good at
everyone
it.
having fun.
But for now, I like
online.
this. So
And when someone can only see things an inch deep, that is why it seems like everyone else is like whining about something that doesn't matter. What do you guys care? We're just having fun.
I just want my profile pic to be cute.
I just thought it was cute.
On
You
the
know?
surface level, they're not wrong.
Yeah.
It is fun to post, like that period of time where
You could do like a South Park version of yourself, or because those
Matt and Trey aren't losing money because you did that.
Yeah.
The problem is that we have now reached the point where every single post like this, every single conversation like this, every single dialogue online is going to be absolutely flooded with people genuinely advocating for we should have this instead of animators. It is happening.
I don't know how many of these people are real, but the people who are like Hollywood is in trouble.
Okay, so you actually literally do want to get rid of the others.
Because like there are people like that, these like very accelerationists, like AI accelerationists. Those people are like cringe as fuck.
They're ghoulish.
For Sam Altman, it is about money. But for an artist, it's more about artist integrity, like what your work.
It's frustrating that they're forcing us and anyone that has these conversations to try and rephrase everything we're saying for the hyper-pragmatist. If you are a utilitarian, true psycho-utilitarian, then I don't want to have the conversation because you're not interested. We're trading in a different currency. It's kind of like the classic Reddit atheist versus devout Christian argument, where really the wisest move is to just not, or the ideal move is that the two of you just don't have to have this conversation because you're trading in different resources. This person is saying, well, my faith is the thing that's important to me. You're going like, but here are my facts. And it's like, but they don't care about the facts and you don't care about the faith. You're trying to trade an incompatible resource. You're trying to give me money, I'm trying to give you oxen.
Right.
It is, to them, inconceivable that the revenue wouldn't be the reason you make it. And then we create this world, let's say, somehow where the entire production process from beginning to end, the next award-winning independent animation is only made by AI.
Also,
These people don't
independent AI,
watch art. They don't care about
independent AI wouldn't exist. It would be the biggest companies. It would be like Disney or all the new AI companies taking over. There's no way it would be too overfilled with indie animations for them to even matter. You think the art industry is overfilled now? Imagine if everyone gets into AI, because they're all the people who are doing AI are just trying to make a quick buck. That's all they're doing. They want to fill up Redbubble. They want to fill up Shopify, fill up Teespring, and that's all they want to do. No, I don't make any money off my art. I just do this for fun and to get better. Because I do eventually want to make like a cartoon or something. It's gonna be a wild color.